it's Noelle Toland, and you're listening to On the Fly with Stevie.
You are listening to On the Fly.
What's up, guys? On the Fly is back. It's Wednesday night, 7 o'clock. A little bit after 7. We were a little late. I was running my mouth with these guys for a few minutes. Excuse me, but tonight, you know, I love some music, guys, and I love some country music, and I'm getting more into my daughter's got me into this new sound of country, but these guys mix a little bit of both of them into them. I found these guys. I didn't. I found them myself on TikTok. They've been around for a while. These guys, if you haven't checked them out yet, if you haven't been lucky enough to check them out yet, you got to check them out. With me tonight is John and Brandon, the Hutcheson Brothers. What's up, guys?
Hey, how's it going?
Hey. Thank you guys so much for being here. We appreciate you taking time out of your schedule to come on the show. So how is life in Tennessee right now? It's pretty hot.
Yes, sir. Yeah, it is. It's a little warm, so we like to stay indoors as much as we can, soak up this air.
Tell me about it. My light bill is going to be high as Willie Nelson is.
But right there with you.
Yeah, it's going to be terrible, but it's that time of year. So, growing up, you guys are from Tennessee, Ridgely, Tennessee.
Yes, sir.
Growing up, what was the first memory you had of music? I mean, I know me as a kid, I remember hearing my mom, she was a big Elvis fan, and all I heard was Elvis. Now, at 5 years old, I was a diehard Kiss fan. So my dad played Beach Boys, so I had a little bit of that through the whole thing. What was you guys' first memory of music around the house?
Well, I'm going to go first since I'm the oldest. I'm going to
go. Yeah, you're the oldest. So you go first.
Well, just growing up in the household that we did, Dad was always Merle Haggard, George Jones, Vern Gosdin. But he'd throw some things in there like Journey and Styx too. Mom was the Patsy and Loretta and Tammy Wynette, but she also liked Southern gospel, contemporary gospel. So we had that, and also they both really loved rockabilly. Our great Uncle Buck played with Jerry Lee Lewis for a number of years.
Oh, wow.
So we had Jerry Lee playing in Fats Domino and Elvis and folks like that. But I think the very first music memory that stuck with me as maybe 2 or 3 year old before you were even here, and still carries with me to today is the music of Garth Brooks and just seeing his concerts on TV and stuff like that. So you take all that what was being played at the house, and then the influence with Garth and the 90s country, and that's me to a T.
Yeah, I'll tell you this, is I just turned 50 this year, so I was like, the 80s was my music decade, and it was all rock. And you could, if you went by a country music station in the 80s, I would like turn it. But like you know, when Garth came along, everything changed for me. That 90s country era got me into country, and you know, I'm still with it today. But that was a great, nothing against the other era. It's just my taste. That 90s era got me into country music. So, and allowed me to go backwards and find some more stuff from that. All right. What about the young one over here? What about you?
Yes, sir. Well, I'm 26 now. So I was probably 8 or 9 years old. And our parents actually took us both to see Keith Urban. And long story short, it was in Tupelo, Mississippi. And over here, he was up here pushing me close to the stage and stuff. I had a sign. And anyway, long story short, he noticed that and took the time to shake my hand and gave me a guitar pick and all that cool stuff. So,
Wow.
really, it just started an obsession after that. I remember it was one Saturday, uh, and like I said, we're from a small town, so the nearest music store is probably 30 miles or so away.
Same here.
It just so happened that a Saturday I was playing Pee Wee football, and my mom and dad were taking me back home, and we just so happened to pass a music store. And I told Dad, I said, "Hey, I want to learn how to play guitar because Keith Urban." Okay, I don't think he really took me seriously. So, hey, so well, when the season ends, we'll sign up for lessons and you can start. And, well, I didn't let him hear the end of it. So after the season ended, we started taking a few lessons and stuff. And then I think at that time he had kind of picked up the drum set and stuff. He's playing drums and stuff. And um, I guess we were kind of probably making the neighbors a little bit mad.
I know we were.
But we was in here thinking, I guess we still think we can play whatever. We just having fun, just making some noise and stuff. And like I said, at that time I was learning. And fast forward, probably 5-6 years when got a little bit better at it. We started a little cover band we started playing in. And long story short, we kind of sort of decided we wanted to started writing music and stuff, and it's kind of where we are now.
So what were some of your influences? I mean, I know you talked about what your first music memories were. I know you talked about Keith Urban.
Yes,
What
sir.
were some other your influences that you had going in, like when you decided what kind of songwriting you want to do? What were your influences?
Well, I know for me it was like I said, Keith Urban, and then shortly after that, after hearing him and stuff, I was really into John Mayer. Still am. I know we talked a little bit before about Ernest and the Flower Shop song. I'm a huge Ernest fan. Wallen, Hardy. Me and him went to a Hardy concert, and we're huge fans. So it pretty much spans all over the place. So
Okay. So and you talked about writing, and I'll tell you this. I got a taste of songwriting a few years back for me and my wife's 20th anniversary. I sat down one night and I was like, well, I'd done it before that, but I sat down one night and about 20 minutes, I wrote a song. I mean, not the music, because I've still got a guitar over here that I have not picked up yet. I said, I'm going to learn how to play this daggone thing. And I have not found the time to pick it up yet. My daughter's going to get all over me because we were like, we're going to learn this together. She learned it. I have not yet, but I sat down one night and wrote. It took me about 20 minutes. And our 20th anniversary was coming up. So I had a friend of mine that I played football against in high school. And he had gone to Tennessee for a while. He'd come back home. And I said, look, I've got this. I'm going to send it to you. I want to do this for my wife's anniversary. Can you put this to music? I said, if you need to change anything, go ahead. And I sent it to him, and he sent me a message back, and I said, okay, how was it? He said, dude, we don't need to change anything. This is a country song right here. And he laid down the music for it. And I was like, oh God, I can write. Shoot, if I wrote that in 20 minutes, I can write I can write all day. I haven't wrote one since. Plenty of ideas, but have not wrote one yet. I don't know what kind of process do you guys go through when you decide to write a song? How do you start?
9 times out of 10, it usually just usually starts out that we're together and one of us says something. It could be in the middle of an argument. It could be in the middle of just talking, and somebody says something that sticks. If we don't have time to write at that particular moment, we'll put it in our phone, and we'll revisit it when we have time. But usually it starts out with the idea. There have been some occasions where he has FaceTimed me or sent me little audio clips through the phone of a melody, and we've written a couple of things around the melody first. But usually it's the lyric first.
Right.
I early on I did majority of the songwriting, but I would say now it's 50-50.
Okay.
So if John comes up with something, it's usually the lyric and the melody. If it's me, it's usually just the lyric because he's more of a musician than I am. But that's usually how it starts. I would say with the lyric, and we just kind of go from there. Um, but there are a few occasions where he'll send over the melody, and we'll work around that.
Okay. Now I'll ask you this. For example, how did this? Because I love this song. How did Sip Happens start?
Well, actually, that started with Corey Lee Barker, Justin Love, and Patrick O'Connor. Those are the songwriters on Sip Happens. We met Corey through an award show that we were at in Pigeon Forge, and struck up a friendship with him. And he sent over a bunch of songs that he had written. And
we were actually going to go in and cut a totally different song.
Yeah.
And he was like, "Wait, we got a few more." And the name kind of stood out to me. So I was like, we just played it, and it kind of just stuck with us. So we played it. Here's a kind of a little side story to this. We played it for our mom, and our like you said earlier, our mom's like, she was a gospel singer, like straight, if you didn't say nothing out of line here, and her mom.
Mama didn't hear Sip.
That's what my mom is.
Something else.
So after she was trying to get a hold, jerk a knot in him, I'm like, no, Mom, he didn't say what you think he said. Sip, S-I-P. But yeah, that's a little funny story. We like to tell at shows whenever we perform it. But no, Sip Happens started with those three guys, and Corey was gracious enough to let us cut it, and it's been a good one for us.
Yeah, it's definitely a good one. And we got a friend of the show, Mr. Brian Mullen. He's a country music artist as well. Chiming in and said, "Hey guys." So what's up, Brian? Hope you're doing well tonight. Thank you for chiming in.
And thank you, Brian.
So you guys decide you release an EP in 2019. How did that come about? And then after that, what about? And I ask everybody this that is in the music business. How did COVID affect you guys' progress after that? Because I know a lot of people it shut everything down. So what about the EP, and then how did COVID affect y'all after that?
So with the EP, John had mentioned earlier, we were in a local cover band, and then we split and started doing our own stuff. That was kind of the reason why we left doing the local cover band, is because we wanted to do our own stuff and get our own stuff out. And we've had those three songs in our back pocket for a good while, and we wanted to get that out and just kind of show people, hey, we're songwriters, we're not just cover artists or anything. And then COVID, we had a really, really good 2020 planned. And just like with everything, it just, everything stopped.
Everything. Sure
So,
did.
Everything that's a blessing is a curse, and everything that's a curse is a blessing. The bad thing about it is we didn't get a chance to play those shows at that particular time. But the good thing that happened, and I'm just gonna get a little personal here. John had been doing music since he's 9 years old, and we're 9 years difference.
Right.
We've always been on go, go, go ever since he was 9. And at that particular time, it allowed us to slow down, allowed us to get closer. He's always he's always going to be my baby brother, but at that particular time, he's becoming a man, and kind of getting to have that brother relationship, but not as older brother and then kid brother, but man to man. And also, it gave us an opportunity, um, again, not to just learn really who each other is or are at on a personal level, but getting able to sit down and write and kind of try things with our music.
Yeah, I felt like it was, like you said, we started really starting to try to do this in 2019, and I think it really just gave us a little bit of time to get on the same page and just kind of come up with somewhat of a plan and try to execute. And like you said, it gave us a lot of time to write and reflect and just think about future plans and stuff like that. So
Yeah, and that's what a lot of people say. Just like you said, it gave us time to slow down. Yeah, it hurt as far, and I know you guys talk about you had a great 2020 planned out, and a lot of people say the same thing. It costs a lot of people a lot of maybe a chance to make it big time. You never know, but it gave them a chance to work on their music and to get things done. They had to make the best out of a bad situation, and it sounds like that's what you guys did too.
absolutely.
So we talked a little bit about Sip Happens, and I'll go ahead and tell you, I went through this album, Behind the Levee. I went through the whole album and I ranked the songs from favorite to least favorite, and they're all great, guys. I mean, it's not any bad ones on there. I promise you that. If you listen to it, I guarantee you guys listen out there, you will love all these songs. But Sip Happens was my favorite, and I will say to this day, I liked it before I watched the video, but watching the video, and I don't know if you being 26, if you remember, you might remember when MTV actually played music videos on music. I mean, now it doesn't happen anymore. And back when I was a kid, that was like, I mean, you watched the videos and you became an even bigger fan of that song. Making this video, that video made me even a bigger fan of that song, Sip Happens, because it's got a little bit of comic in it. You're I guess this is an ex-girlfriend you're going to end up getting back with, and he's over there the whole time doing this number to you every time you try to, and guys, check it out. If you haven't checked out, look up the Hutcheson Brothers on their YouTube channel and check out Sip Happens, or you can go to their website. You see the website scrolling across the screen right now. But what was it like actually filming that video for you? Were there any nerves or anything like that? I don't know if that was your first time doing a video.
yes, sir. It was our first time. It was our first video. Honestly, to be completely straightforward with you, I had no clue what I was doing. So we were lucky to have a good, I guess you'd call it director.
Yes.
Mr. Alan Ingalls. He basically said, hey, he had the whole storyline kind of rolled out for us and told us what to do. And I'm hoping it wasn't too obvious that I haven't ever acted, but yeah, that's actually the woman in the video is actually my wife. So
I was getting ready to ask you that because it looked like y'all were pretty comfortable with each other.
Yes, sir. Yeah, you can actually see we were in one of the little scenes or whatever. We were actually playing rock paper scissors in the background. It just so happened to make it in the video. So yeah, next time you check it out,
watch that again.
Yeah, you had to.
There are a lot of people in that video that are close friends and people who have booked us, from the early days, and family members. John's wife is in it. My wife's in it. Close friends. So it was a very fun experience for it to be your first video. We were surrounded by family and friends, and I hate the word fans personally,
right?
But people who have supported us from from the very beginning, when, like John said earlier, when we was just making noise at the house. Uh, People there that gave us our first gigs were in that video. Um, the place that we shot it at, let
I'm ready
us.
to ask you about that.
Yeah, the place that we shot it at was a local business just right down the road from where we grew up in Dyersburg, Tennessee. Mojo's. They when COVID happened, kind of tying back to the other question, they were one of the first places to kind of open back up and do the music thing, and they let us come in and play as often as we wanted to, and they've been big supporters of ours as well. And John mentioned Alan Ingalls, who shot and directed the music video. We've worked with Alan for a number of years. And it was our first music video, and there was nobody else that we would have rather worked with than Alan. He makes everybody feel so comfortable, and just a really good pal. And it was a really cool video to make. Just looking out and seeing that everybody that was there, we had some kind of connection with.
Well, you think about it. I mean, when you guys started this, did you ever think you would be in a place right down the road from you recording a music video with all these people around you?
Not at all. Not at all.
So yeah, I mean that's pretty much. I can't imagine doing a music video or anything. So that's a good sign that you're doing something right for sure. Let's see. You guys have opened up for some legendary acts. I mean, just to name a few, Buddy Jewel. That's a name I have not heard in a while. When I saw that on your website, I was like, Buddy Jewel. I remember what was the name of that song? Something by the rain.
Help Pour Out the Rain.
Yeah, Help Pour Out the Rain. I remember that. Ronnie McDowell, T. Graham Brown, and you guys, Confederate Railroad. Talk a little bit about you guys got to get on stage with them and sing Trashy Women, right?
That's right.
Yes, sir.
So John mentioned a funny story about our mother.
God.
Tell a funny story about our old man. So with us having the 9-year age gap here, I was born in '89, and I go to work with Dad sometimes, and he always enjoyed listening to all types of country artists, but Confederate Railroad stuck with him too. And so I can remember being 3, 4, 5 years old, hearing Trashy Women and Queen of Memphis and Daddy Never Was the Cadillac Kind. So we get this show over in Camden, Tennessee. And we get there, we do sound check, and then they take us inside to eat. And right there is Confederate Railroad, Danny Shirley, lead singer. He stops what he's doing, shakes our hands, and introduces himself. And we talk a little bit, and he asked, do we know of his music? And of course, we do, and we tell him, hey, our dad, you're one of our dad's favorite, groups. And he asked, were they coming to the show? Well, at that particular time, Mom and Dad weren't coming to the show because it was a little bit further from home and things like that. So we talked a little bit more, and Danny was like, at the very end of the night, I want to call you up and y'all sing Trashy Women with us. Okay, well, we'll do that. And of course, we got the video on YouTube. So he calls our dad and was like, look, if y'all can make it, y'all need to make it because we're going to be singing at the end of the night. Well, John's more of the prankster, so Dad just hangs up on him. So then I call, thinking that he'd believe me. He hangs up on me. So I call our mom, and I'm like, y'all need to get here. Well, we didn't hear from him for an hour, and
I think they actually got pulled over on I-40 because they were trying to make it.
Oh wow!
Yeah,
and
so they were.
So they finally believed us, and Dad got to meet Danny Shirley, and the picture is hanging in his office. And if you ask him about that night, he can't really tell you anything about our performance, but he'll say, "I got to talk to Danny Shirley and get my picture taken with him." So that was cool, and we're fortunate enough. We found this out about 2 weeks ago that we're going to get to open for Confederate Railroad again.
Oh wow!
And next month in Chickasha, Oklahoma. So we're looking forward to that.
So what's the furthest you guys have traveled to play a concert?
Ooh,
I think probably right now it would probably be Lincoln, Nebraska, or Houston. I don't know which one's further.
Or Sioux City, Iowa.
Okay.
But I think next week we're going to be in Unity, Wisconsin. So I think that'll probably top all the rest.
Yeah.
So
Yeah,
for sure.
So talking about playing in pretty good situations. I know you guys. It says up here. I don't know why it says up here. You guys are Cowboy fans, but I won't hold that against you. But you guys played at the NFL draft, and like I said before we came on there, I can't imagine freaking being at the NFL draft, much less playing at the NFL draft. What kind of atmosphere was that like playing at that NFL draft? Because I mean, I know it gets bigger every year. What was that like for you guys?
So we played. I guess it was in 2019 the draft. It was the year they had it in Nashville. So if y'all have ever been to Nashville, you know it's already crazy. So you put the NFL draft on top of that. We were actually. We'd like to say we kind of had a hand in it, but we were actually on Kansas City stage.
Oh,
Um,
is that when they picked Mahomes?
That was the year they picked Mahomes.
Oh wow!
I believe it was.
And then that year, that season,
or I take
that was the year they won the Super Bowl.
That was the year they won the Super Bowl, not the year they picked Mahomes. I'm sorry.
Okay.
So we'd like to maybe take a little bit of credit for that Super Bowl win.
And I was like, can we not play, the Cowboy stage the next year?
I think I actually did I wear a Cowboy shirt or a hat? It was something. It was Dallas hat or shirt or something. I can't really remember. But yeah, it was crazy. I think they said it was like 600,000 people and just that. I think we played Saturday.
We did. We played the Saturday.
So it was 600,000 people supposedly.
That was just the second day. So you can imagine how many people were there like the first night.
Oh yeah.
Oh gosh, I know. Like you said, Tennessee is already crazy. You add that to it, and you guys also played at a NASCAR event. I mean, like I said, I used to be a huge NASCAR fan, but we won't get into that on this show. I'll save that for the Final Score podcast. And I have made my feelings known on that podcast before. But how was that, guy? I mean, I know you guys are big NASCAR fans too. How was that playing at the NASCAR event for you?
Well, that was like the NFL draft. It was like being a kid in a candy store. We, grew up Cowboy fans and grew up NASCAR fans. Of course, I was more the Dale Sr., Dale Jr. John was a big Tony Stewart fan.
Yeah.
And I think right now, if we had to pick somebody, anybody with Trackhouse Racing.
I like Ross Chastain.
Stuff.
Put the bumper to people.
All right. So
Chastain is trying to be. He reminds me a little bit of how Senior used to do.
That's right.
He just gets them out of the way.
That's it. And I'm sure that we basically probably have the same opinions on certain drivers and the way the sport is.
Yeah.
But just being able to merge two things that we love, that was fantastic. And Nashville Super Speedway was super kind to us. Let us kind of go in certain areas that the public wasn't able to get into, and then of course just playing our music. And we've only played this one song once. We wrote a song about Dale Sr., and I don't know if we'll ever record it or not, but we debuted it there, and
I think it's actually on our TikTok.
It's on our TikTok.
I think so.
It is.
I think it has pretty good.
You tag Junior in that?
We did.
Okay, I was going to say.
Yeah, I tagged. I think it was Richard Childress Jr., pretty much everybody associated.
I might end up on his podcast for long.
Well, I'd be all right with that. But but yeah, we played that and kind of got the infield crowd all stirred up, and I mean it was our kind of people, and they were digging our music, and I'd do it all over again in a heartbeat.
Oh yeah, definitely. I can't. Like I said, you guys have played at 2 events. I mean, NASCAR. I actually I'll tell you, the last NASCAR race I went to was in Richmond, and it was your boy Tony Stewart's first win. And I was actually, some friends of ours had seats in one of the towers, and my wife was in there. That was the only way she was going to go, because she's like, what about if we were down there? I said, if you were down there, you would be miserable right now, because it's loud and people are drunk, and they're probably throwing chicken bones at you and all this stuff. But yeah, so that's the last time I went. But I got within probably about 20 feet of Tony Stewart after the race. And I was like,
oh, wow.
it was a pretty good night then. So let's talk about the album Behind the Levee. And this is some of the songs that you guys had it released already. And I'm gonna go through my favorites, and I'm gonna start from the bottom.
Okay.
And this guys, remember now, this no way means I hate these songs. This is one of those albums that I could say I got my number one, my locked in number one, and maybe number two. Number two is probably locked in, but the rest of them could any day they could switch up. So just remember that. So at the bottom, I got Chillin'. That's a really good song. Then we go to Mississippi River Town. And then She Don't Know She's Lonely. Mean to Me, could easily could fight up there with the top two. And Drive could fight with the top two. But the top two, Searching, and of course, Sip Happens. Guys, you check this album out. What did it feel like for you guys, though? I know you released the EP.
Right.
But releasing a full album and seeing it, Apple Music, Spotify, and all that, what was that feeling like for you when you saw it? Because you got the cover and everything up there. What was that like for you to release your first album like that?
I mean, it was for me. Just speaking for me, I was really proud of it, because I mean, even down to designing the covers to taking the album pictures. I mean, that was me and him just got in a pickup truck and just went literally behind the levee where we are. So I think for me it was really a lot of pride. That's how I felt, growing up here in West Tennessee, and I was just really proud of it. And I would hope that after somebody listens to the album and stuff, maybe you kind of get a sense of how we grew up, and how exactly where we're from and stuff like that. So I think that's really how I felt when we released it, was just a lot of pride, and I was happy to go ahead, because we were, like you said, we were sitting on some of these songs for a while.
Yeah.
So just to have them out there for everybody to listen to, I was really just happy. So
yeah, we literally grew up behind the levee. I mean, Ridgely, Lake County, Tennessee is right on the Mississippi River. We're about 85 miles north of Memphis. And like John was saying, we didn't write all the songs on there. We had a hand in 5 of the 8. But the design work, the album cover, he took the picture of the album cover.
Yeah,
it was actually more of a trying to get camera settings right.
Yeah.
Yeah. I sat in the bed of my truck, and I was like, hey, I want you to drive the truck and just go about 5-10 mile an hour. I'm gonna hold this camera up on the roof of the truck, and I'm just gonna take some pictures, and we'll see what we get. So, long story short,
Yeah,
I trusted him enough to drive, and
Yeah,
that's how we got that.
so between doing that, and then if you listen to some of the songs like Mississippi River Town, that's us growing up in this particular area. Um, there's every song has its own backstory of how we wrote it, why we wrote it, but it it ties it ties back to home in some way.
Yeah.
And the reason it's called Behind the Levee, we were just trying to come up with a title, and we were listening to the songs as they came on, and Mississippi Rivertown came on, going behind the levee, and John looked at me and said, "What about Behind the Levee?" And I'm like, "That's perfect."
Yep. I
So,
heard that. I'd heard that in that song too. And then at the end, I didn't rank this one because it's a cover. And I know you guys are a little bit younger than me, and Three Doors Down was a group that, I liked some of their songs, but at that time I was kind of going like back in time to listen. But Kryptonite, which is a great song, you guys do an acoustic cover of Kryptonite. What made you decide to put that on the album?
well, we started playing Kryptonite. Honestly, that's kind of, I know I'm country, but I have friends that were in rock and things like that, and we would hang out, and that was one of the songs we listened to early high school, days and whatever. I didn't even know that John even knew who Three Doors Down was,
Of course.
and he started playing it. And last January, we threw it in the set list for the very first time at a show in Houston, Texas. And I was cringing because this was kind of more of a country place. And we did it, and the crowd loved it. So we've kept it in our set list. Now, why it's on the album, you're going to have to ask John that one, because I didn't know we was going to put it on the album until.
So honestly, I didn't either. I just kind of took a shot in the dark and emailed the guys over at Three Doors Down. Actually, they're I think it was their
Brad
agent,
Arnold.
Brad Arnold. Okay, so I emailed Brad Arnold, and I was like, hey, we're wanting to actually add this to like an acoustic cover to our album. And the guys over Three Doors Down actually gave us the green light to go ahead and do it. So that's all we needed. We was like, well, let's roll with it. So we went on ahead. I got the laptop over there with a little recording software, and we took like an hour. I think maybe not even an hour, and just cut it. And like he said, that's probably grown to be one of our. I know for me, I'm assuming for you, probably one of our favorite songs to cover now. It's just really high energy, and that's one we pretty much play everywhere now. So
yeah, our granddaddy, we call him Pop. Pop is what do you say, in his early 70s?
yeah.
He, Haggard, Jones, even going back further than that. He's been straight down the middle country, but we gave him a copy of the album, and let him listen to it.
He said, I like that Superman song.
Yeah. Yeah. So anytime that he comes to a show, if we're close by, or if we ever live stream a show, where we usually kind of do live for him and Mama and a few others, if they can actually come to a show. But if he's there, if he's tuning in, we have to do Kryptonite so he can hear the Superman song.
We talk about that. We've got some local country artists around here that one of them plays actually Fleetwood Mac. He plays Journey, and he does a different version of "Beat It" by Michael Jackson. And I mean, it's pretty awesome. So, Martin Terry, I'm throwing your name out there. So there you go. We got on some more country music artists up there. Annie Vander, what's up? How you doing tonight, Miss Annie? That's Brian's wife. She's a country music singer as well. She's been on the show a couple of times. Brian's been on. Well,
There.
Brian has been. You did tie Brian, so you've been on just as much. So now I'm going to talk a little bit about you guys' sport. We're going to get into a little sports here.
All right. Sounds
What?
good.
You guys are from Tennessee.
That's right.
Okay, you're 35. You're 26. So I'm trying to remember. Let's see, 95. How old you guys would have been in 95? Let's see.
He wasn't here yet, and I was. If you're talking about Super Bowl 30, I was 6.
Okay. So what made you guys from Tennessee decide to be Dallas Cowboys fans?
Our daddy.
Oh, okay. Okay.
He was a fan of the Cowboys. He can remember watching Super Bowl 12 between Dallas and Denver. Craig Morton versus Staubach.
Orange Crush.
Orange Crush versus Doomsday.
Yep.
And he said that was basically when he became a Dallas Cowboy fan, and seeing like Tom Landry on the sideline. So what year was that? It had to be 78, 79, somewhere around in there. So he's been a diehard fan since then. We didn't have a choice.
Now I'll take. Now listen to this now. Listen to this now. Now when all my family were Redskins fans, and somehow, look, I knew y'all were going to turn your head. Somehow, out of that, I became. I mean, at 5 years old, I became a Steelers fan, a Kiss fan. So Star Wars. All my obsessions started at 5 years old. So don't tell me it's bred into you, because you feel free. I know you can see the light and run away from the star.
Hey, it's a part of us now.
Yeah, I don't blame you. Stick with it. You stick with it, because I'm gonna tell you this, and I'm gonna get you guys' opinion on this. It's been since 1995 since you won a Super Bowl. All right. And a lot of Cowboy fans are coming up to me here lately and saying the same thing I've been saying. Jerry Jones, you get him out of there, or get him to stop. Just sign your name on the checks and leave it alone. You guys might win a Super Bowl.
Yes, sir. I agree.
I agree with that 100%. You know, you ran Jimmy off. You ran the tuna off. You know,
He's trying to be too much. He's an owner, a general manager. He wants to
do it all.
Yeah.
And you know yourself, he had nothing to do with those teams that Jimmy Johnson turned into that dynasty in the early 90s. If he had shut his mouth and let Jimmy Johnson sit there, they probably would have won 3 or 4 Super Bowls.
Mm-hmm.
Totally.
I wish he'd hurry up and sell, because I can barely. See, I was born in '98, so I mean, maybe 3-4 playoff games won. So yeah. I mean,
I think 2.
2. Okay, I was being a little generous there.
You were.
But
did you guys think this year? Did you guys think in a million years that the Packers were going to beat y'all the way they did?
Oh yes, absolutely.
Oh really?
Look, they had nothing to lose.
Yeah.
And just seeing how Dallas barely got by Washington and got by some of the teams that they should have beaten handily.
Yeah.
Focusing on they were focusing on the Phillies and Philadelphia, and I understand that. But you can't let struggling teams stay in the ball game. And I mean, it's the usual Dallas December, January collapse. So
yeah,
we're used to it by now.
I had it pegged where they were going to get by Green Bay, but the next week that was when they were going to have the collapse. That's what I said on my podcast. I was like, they'll get by this one, but the collapse will happen the next week. And then when I forgot what I was doing, because I got home a little bit late, and I turned the TV on. And I saw 21. What was it? 21-0, and I was like, what the heck? And let me ask you something. Where was the defense at?
They didn't show up. They were still at home taking a nap.
Yeah. They disappeared. I mean, they had claimed they were going to do this, do that. they just disappeared. I mean, you had that many wide open, the same play, 2 wide open passes down the field. You had the same play too. That secondary let you down, your defensive line, but I can't say anything. My guys are just celebrating being just above 500. And as long as Tomlin gets above 500 every year, it's like they're going to have a parade there. I'm tired of being just above 500. I want some playoff wins.
Well, at least Coach Tomlin has brought y'all some hardware since before he got anything. So
yeah, he's been to 2. He's got us 1. So but it's just getting and you guys with the history of the Cowboys and the history of the Steelers, you guys know you don't want to settle for just making the playoffs anymore.
Yeah.
You want to win, and that's the way we've got. It's like we've got complacent with it right now. All right, so talk a little bit about your website, where they can find you, probably the album, where they can find you on social media. Anything you want to plug, any upcoming events you want to plug, let us know about it.
Yeah, so you can basically anything you want to know about us, it's HutchesonBrothers.com. I think it's there on that ticker, isn't it?
Yep, it's going across the screen right now.
So it's I know it's a lot of different ways to spell Hutcheson. So
Is that right?
yes, sir. Yes, sir.
I got it right. Okay.
Yes, sir. So you can do that. We're on TikTok, Facebook, Instagram. Pretty much,
you can go to our website and go and get everything from physical copy of Behind the Levee to access our Spotify and Apple, our merch store, socials, all that good stuff. You can start at HutchesonBrothers.com, and
we got dates and stuff on there. So if we're going to be nearby somewhere, and also we've got coming up next week, we're going to be in Hicks and Picks Festival in Unity, Wisconsin. That's July 26th. Then we're heading out to Oklahoma at Legends Pub House. That's August 26th and 27th. Then we're coming back here to Tiptonville, Tennessee. It's just the town over. We're going to be there September. Then also New Bern Depot Days in September. That's in New Bern, Tennessee, a few miles away. We got a few more things that we're working on. We're working on some new music also. So, I mean, we're all the time adding stuff. So.
Yeah, I did not realize. I had to scroll down enough where you guys have a CD, because let me tell you, I always like to get a physical copy in my hand. I was one of those guys back in the day when you went to a record store. I'm like y'all, the closest record store to us was like 30 miles. But whenever I got one, the first thing I did when I popped it in, I started reading the liner notes. I read it from start to finish so I could know every little thing about that. I like having that physical copy in my hand. Yeah, and that's a great shot, by the way, on the cover too. I didn't tell you that. That is a great shot on the cover.
Don't give him the big head. That's the last thing I need.
He'll be a professional photographer for you.
I know it.
All right, so guys, make sure you check them out anywhere you stream your music. I promise you guys, if you're a fan of country music, if you're a fan of music, you will like this album. I gave you my picks. Like I said, Sip Happens. Check out the song and then check out the video, guys, and follow them. Give them a follow on YouTube as well. What we like to finish up with. I warned you guys about this earlier, so clear your head. I don't know if you guys ever watched the TV show Friends. I was a big Friends fan, but there was a part they did a little thing that said, just clear your mind, and the first thing that pops in there, that's what you answer. So
you probably should have told him that. Ain't no telling what he'd say.
That's all right. I can change it from PG-13 to R-rated if we get it there. All right. Here we go.
You answer first, I guess. I don't know.
Okay. Whichever way y'all want to. Whoever wants to answer first, go ahead. Lake or beach?
Beach.
Okay. Favorite food?
Chicken.
Pinto beans and cornbread.
Wow, I hadn't heard of that one before. Favorite athlete?
Tony Romo.
Tony Romo. Yeah, I'd say so.
As long as you guys don't say LeBron James or Bronny James, you're good with me. Favorite dessert?
All of it.
Blackberry coffee.
I like chocolate pie.
I got you. Yeah. Coke or Pepsi?
Dr. Pepper.
Okay. That I could go along. Look, I stopped. I got into this running phase a while back, and I stopped. Of course, I got scared when a friend of mine was telling me about all this stuff that's in Mountain Dew. And I mean, when they talk about I'm all jacked up on Mountain Dew on Talladega Nights, yeah, you can get all jacked up on Mountain Dew if you.
That's right.
So I stopped drinking that, and I've tried to cut out caffeine now. So, whew, yeah. With the one song you wish you wrote.
Ooh. I know a lot of people don't like this particular artist, but I think it's one of the most beautiful songs that's been written in country music in the past 15 years. Dan and Shay's From the Ground Up.
I'd probably say, I like If Tomorrow Never Comes. I like that one.
Yeah.
Good one.
Yeah, I could go along. See, and that's the one thing I wanted to say earlier about the songs on your albums. What I look for when I'm listening, if I'm hearing a song and I listen to the lyrics, I want to hear a story. I mean, not all the time, but most of the time you want to hear a story, somebody that tells a story in that song. And those songs you got, just like you said, it tells a story. And that's what I look at. And that's what drew me to when I started listening to you guys' music. Just like, I mean, stuff happens. But I mean, there's a lot of people that have gone through that same situation. So, I mean, they can relate to that. And that's just what got me there. I think we know your answer. First concert.
My first concert was Dierks Bentley.
Okay.
Yeah, mine was Keith Urban. So
I was ready to say.
yes,
think we
sir.
earlier. Pineapple on pizza.
No.
Both of y'all know. All right. And I can't. You guys are young enough where I can't say first album. I'm gonna say first CD you bought with your own money.
Kenny Chesney, No Shirt, No Shoes, No Problems.
I believe mine was Keith Urban, Defying Gravity. I believe.
I
Okay.
think you're right.
Like 2008 or 9, something like that.
See, this will tell y'all the age difference between me and both of y'all. I bought an album. It was Michael Jackson's Thriller with grass cutting money. So yeah, I didn't.
Hey, we like to break out the record machine and record player, and actually, my wife and I, we have one that's kind of like one of the centerpieces in our living room at home, and we're kind of in our rehearsal room now, and John has one over here in the corner, so a couple of.
You ain't got one of them retro ones that took up like the whole side of the room, do you? Like
No.
we had back in the day.
Now, in our parents' dining room, we had. Is it still in there?
I don't even know.
It has the record player, the 8-track, and all that. So
That's what I'm talking about. Look, my mom and dad had one. The one we always listened because she would Saturdays when she was cleaning, she would put one of the Elvis albums on and crank that thing up where you heard it all across the house. But thing, the cabinet is still there. The record player stuff, I forgot what happened. So they had to take all of that out. But yeah, that's still there.
I can remember listening to the 8-track, and I wish I knew where it was. The 8-track Elvis via satellite from Hawaii.
I've got the record over there on the wall.
I didn't even notice that.
Yeah, I've got that record over there on the wall.
You got the Elvis record on the wall?
Yes, sir. I got it's the Hawaii concert.
Yeah. My mom, I remember I played the heck out of that. And then, all these albums that come out now are colored vinyl. They got like 40,000 variations of colors up there. But I think the last album he came out with, she bought, was Moody Blue. And that album, that vinyl was blue. And I remember I was just like, I played that just because it was the blue album. But yeah, okay. Back on the drill.
All right.
Favorite movie?
Need for Speed. Shawshank Redemption.
Okay. All right. Favorite TV show?
Go ahead. Diners, Drive-Ins, and Dives.
Good one.
I was trying to think, what is it called? I watch it every day.
I like that the Oak Island thing where they just try to find the something Oak Island. I think it's on
The
Discovery.
treasure.
Yeah, the little
Search,
treasure or something. It's a show, Oak Island. It's
Okay.
on like History Channel or something.
All right. This may be a tough one for you. Favorite song?
Ooh, if it's favorite song of all time, then I'm gonna have to go with I'm gonna have to go with The Dance.
I'd probably say right now it'd probably be that Cole Wetzel song that I think it's Sweet Dreams or something like that. That's
Okay. See this Sweet Dream. I'm gonna have to listen to that. I'm writing this down now so I can remember this later because I'm over half a century now. My memory ain't as good as it used to be. All right. Favorite artist and group. I mean, you can tell me your favorite solo artist and then your favorite group. I know probably who yours is.
Favorite artist, Garth Brooks. Favorite group, I'm probably gonna lean toward. Oh man, I listen to a lot of groups. Right now, I'm really digging a lot of Huey Lewis and the News. So that's probably who I would say today. It'll probably change tomorrow.
Yeah, mine could change by the week. Well, no, mine ain't gonna change. Mine's always gonna be Kiss, so no matter what. I'm a Kiss freak, I guess. What about you?
probably for me. If you're talking about groups, my first electric guitar was an SG, a Gibson SG, just because of this guitarist, but AC/DC. So, huge AC/DC fan. And then probably right now would probably be Hardy. I like more of his like rock and kind of metal stuff that he's doing now. So that'd probably be my favorite group for sure. Probably favorite artists right now.
Okay. Last question on the 2-minute drill. So you guys made it through. You did better than Tony Romo did on most of his 2-minute drills.
Oh.
And maybe we'll
thing on the screen where it says leave. Do I go ahead and hit that now?
maybe we'll actually count. Not say Dez dropped the ball. It's actual touchdown on this one. All right. If you could pick any artist, present or past, to record with, who would it be?
Go ahead.
I would probably have to go with probably Elvis. I like Elvis.
Ooh, yeah, that'd be good.
Yeah.
I know. I'll give you if the one that's living would obviously be Garth, but if I could pick another artist, Freddie Mercury.
I swear I was thinking that.
Wow.
That's a
heck of a singer, heck of a front man was
yeah.
Mercury. Gosh, no. All right, so you got the 2-minute drill. We'll give you the touchdown. You know, I'm not going to take any more digs at the Cowboys. So. All right, guys.
Oh, we're good. We're used to it.
Oh yeah, I know. Look, I got Ravens fans all around me, and they, gosh, no, they dress from head to toe, and then when we beat them, they disappeared. It's the same story every year. Lamar's going to get us to the Super Bowl this year. I said, well, y'all better buy a ticket because that's the only way y'all were getting there.
That's right.
Guys, be sure to check these guys out at the www. Does anybody even say www anymore? I don't think they do. Just check them out at HutchesonBrothers.com. Check them out on all the streaming media, Spotify, Apple playlists. Give them a follow there. Give them a follow on YouTube, and make sure you check them out. And guys, we're going to do something tonight because I just thought about it. I'm live here tonight, and I want these guys to do a bumper for me. So we're going to do a live bumper. It might take a few takes, but we're going to do a live bumper. So you're going to get a little, just because I realized, I said, if I stop this stream, it's going to reset everything and they're going to be gone. So I can't do it over again. So I'm not that technically suave to do that. So tonight we're going to get a Hutcheson Brothers bumper live. Okay, so you guys just say your name. This is so and so. This is so and so. We're the Hutcheson Brothers, and you'll listen to On the Fly.
All right, sounds
Can
good.
you have it? All right. All right. I'm gonna count you down. All right. 3, 2, 1.
I'm John.
And I'm Brandon.
We're the Hutcheson Brothers.
And you're listening to On the Fly.
That'll work. See you guys out there listening. You got a little peek behind the curtain tonight. So I don't. Guys, thank you so much for coming on. I appreciate you taking time out of your schedule. Guys, please.
Asking.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Please check them out. And check them out on TikTok. That's where I found them, on TikTok, guys. But you can check them on all the social medias. We'll have them in the show description. We'll have everything lined up where you can just click and follow. So, guys, thank you so much again. And good luck to you guys. We'll be listening for you in the future. We'll listen to some of that new music that you guys are talking about.
Yes, sir.
Thank you, Mr. Steve. We sure appreciate you.
All right, guys, that's the Hutcheson Brothers, On the Fly.